All right, a new budget and a new chair. San Diego Metropolitan Transit System making plans for the future.
Council member and new MTS board chair Stephen Whitburn joins us now. Congratulations.
Thank you, Raul. Thank you, Shelly.
I want you to try to explain to the viewers what it means for you to take over this position, which is a big job, and how this all came to be. Explain how you ended up in this chair.
Well, Raul, it's a big honor to have the opportunity to lead our region's transit system. Appreciate the support of my colleagues on the board of directors of MTS. I had been serving as vice chair of MTS, and then when the previous chair resigned, there was an election for chair, and just yesterday I was elected to the position. It is so important, the regional transit system, because there are literally hundreds of thousands of people every day who depend on the trolley, who depend on the bus to get to where they're going. And I am eager to make sure that we continue the progress that MTS has been making.
Sure, you weren't expecting to do this so quickly with Nathan Fletcher having to step down. Can you do both jobs as city councilman and this? And what does this job entail? And how much of a workload is that going to be for you?
I can do both jobs. I am very fortunate to be surrounded by a board of 15 elected officials from around the region, and we will all be working at MTS to support the staff and certainly to support the people who ride the transit system. And of course, at the council office, I have a terrific staff as well who will help me with the various logistics that need to be done. But the answer is yes, I can certainly do both things.
You have the position now. What do you sit down and you make a list that you need to do first?
The number one thing that I want to make sure that we do is resolve the current work stoppage that is occurring. MTS has a contract with a company called Transdev that provides some of the service to service riders in the South Bay and in East County, and they're on strike right now. That's affecting service this morning, much as it did yesterday. I have spoken to both the union leaders and to Transdev, offered my help to resolve the situation. There was a similar strike in El Centro that was resolved a couple of weeks ago. A strike in Orange County was resolved just yesterday. So I'm confident that we will get this resolved in short order here as well.
Because you step right into this role and right into this strike. You've heard what these workers have had to say. We've been listening to them for several days now. How do you address them to prevent this from spreading from South Bay to East County and even further?
Well, you have a board of directors at MTS, and certainly I am one of them, who want to make sure that the people who are serving our riders on the trolley and on the buses are working with a fair contract. So we will be working with Transdev to make sure that those workers have the right working conditions, have a good salary, and are happy to be doing what they're doing.
Obviously, saying fair contract is subjective. You could offer something and they don't feel it's fair. They're not getting their breaks. They're not getting paid enough. How do you get to that sweet spot where everybody's happy? It seems not as easy to do as it is just to talk about it.
Well, contract negotiations usually aren't easy. You have two sides that start a little bit apart and they work their way and they get closer and closer. And right now it's at a contentious stage, but we've seen work stoppages like this resolve themselves in other places just recently. It's in everybody's best interest to resolve this. The workers want to get back to work. Transdev wants to be providing service, and certainly MTS wants to ensure that we have the reliable service that our transit customers depend upon.
You talk about transit and you talk about making improvements in best interest. What are you going to do over the next few months to be able to improve just MTS overall?
Well, just yesterday, we at that same meeting, we passed a $407 million operating budget for the coming year. That is going to maintain the high level of service that we currently have. We also heard a study that we did of people who ride the bus and ride the trolley in typically underserved areas. And what were some of the things that they really wanted to see improvements on? Two of the things that they asked for, and we're going to provide them, are better bus shelters and more lighting. So we are going to spend $3 million upgrading the bus shelters in those areas, providing more lighting along the orange line on the trolley, and also add lighting at our bus shelters.
Was there an area in particular where when you're doing the survey and you're getting the information that you're talking about the bus shelters and the lighting, where exactly was this?
So a
coming from?
lot of the areas that have typically been underserved, where we're trying to make sure we have equitable service, are in the southeastern part of San Diego, along the Orange Line, which goes from downtown to East County, and down toward the border as well. Those are some of the areas where we want to make sure that they have the service that everybody else has.
Has public transit, has it been affected by the pandemic? Are you seeing more people riding public transportation or less than before that all this happened?
I've got two answers for that. So the first answer is yes, it did affect public transit. The public transit ridership decreased nationally during the pandemic. In San Diego, it has gone up faster than in most other cities.
Really?
We are getting close to where we were before. Yeah, San Diego has recovered beautifully. Where we are ahead of the game is with younger riders. We are seeing more and more young people take the trolley and take the bus, and that is because of our Youth Opportunity Pass, which provides free rides to people who are 18 and younger. We have gone from 10,000 rides to more than 30,000, so we have tripled ridership among young people.
I'm going to ask you an unfair question, look into your crystal ball. How long is this strike going to last?
I would say it will last not very much longer. I think that we saw a pretty quick resolution in El Centro, a pretty quick resolution in Orange County. Everybody wants to resolve this. I think we'll get this settled in fairly short order.
It's affecting a whole lot of people.
It is.
Stephen Whitburn, we thank you, new MTS board chair. Appreciate the time.
Thank you, Raul. Thank you, Shally.